Welcome back. More than 40% of U.S. adults developed symptoms of depression or anxiety last year. That's according to the U.S. Census Bureau and the National Center for Health Statistics. Actor Freida Pinto from award-winning film Slumdog Millionaire and Netflix's Hillbilly Elegy is partnering with mental health diagnostics company Genomind to help people improve their mental wellness. Here to tell us all about it is actor Freida Pinto herself. Freida, thank you so much for being here. You have such huge fans here at Cheddar, and me being a South Asian woman myself, I was always so proud to see you on the big screen. So welcome, welcome. What started your journey into mental wellness?
Well, listen, it really started because of the industry that I am in. It kind of puts so many undue pressures on you that you reach out to get that additional help that you need. And that's when it really started for me, somewhere around the age of 30. But I think last year really brought to light and to the forefront for me and for a lot of people around me that we were not addressing a very important part of our health, which is our mental health in the go, go, go aspect of life. So I really think it came very much into the forefront last year for me.
How does the Genomind testing kit work? What information do you receive as part of it?
Right. The interesting thing is through therapy and all of the other additional help that I had in the past, it did absolutely address the environment, the lifestyle, and the experiences that inform certain behaviors or certain ways in which anxiety would manifest in my body. But I think with this testing, it addresses one very, very key aspect, which is your genes and your predispositions. The test is really, really simple. You just you order your kit. You go onto to mentalhealthmap.com, you order your kit. The kit comes home, you do a little swab, you put your address in, your name in, and you send it to them. And then it's evaluated at the center. And then you actually have a consultation that is not just this is what is in your map, in your mental health test, but an actual consultation with a scientist, with a counselor who can actually guide you on what you do with all this data and information. And this, in no way replaces your doctor or your therapist. So please don't take it that way. That is a non-negotiable, but it gives you data and arms you and empowers you to go ask the right questions, things that you might have always known, but never had the right answers or the right way to phrase those sentences. So this has been a huge change for me. And I actually consider myself to be very cerebral and analytical, and I research a lot, but I had no idea some of the revelations that came forth through this were going to change my life.
Sure. Can we talk about that a little bit? Because as you mentioned, the pandemic has affected so many people's mental health. What did you learn specifically about your own?
Well, some of the things that I did learn about myself felt more like validations, things that I've always known and patterns that I'm really aware of. It just made me feel validated in the fact that I have a certain genetic predisposition as well. It's not just random. It's not just something that is in my head or uncalled for. Those are the worst things you can tell people. It's just in your head. And now that I know that it's in my genetic framework, to respond to certain situations that way. One particular thing which I say with full disclosure here, because I think it's so important to address this issue as well, is my impaired relationship with food and my habit of overeating. And and I don't know how you grew up, but my mom always told me to eat everything that was on my plate. So, the environment that I was in was to never waste food, even if it meant you were stuffing yourself to beyond your limit. And then in the genetic test, it actually revealed is that I also have my satiety button on mute. And so not only was I playing with an environmental factor, I was also up against a genetic factor. And so the beautiful part about this test is it revealed something to me and helped me come to an acceptance of it. But it also gave me certain solutions and certain tips on what I could possibly do to combat this constant battle I have with food and with body image and with just cravings and all of the stuff that comes with eating disorders or eating issues. I have not been, I must clarify, I have not been clinically diagnosed with an eating disorder, and that is a very serious topic today, but I am now encouraged to speak to my therapist and ask him if there is another way that I could deal with this issue of overeating, this issue of not having the stop button within me.
Freida, thank you so much for sharing your story, because I think there's so many of our viewers who are watching you. And I do think this is the new frontier of mental health, so thank you. I do want to talk about your incredible career and your projects coming up. You're set to star and executive produce a new limited series about a spy princess, Noor Inayat Khan. What can you tell us about that?
Well, it's been a project that I've been working on for a long time, and I'm so passionate about telling stories of South Asian women and South Asian heroes that we may not even know about or have read about and would want to know more about. And so Noor Inayat Khan is very much that story that I want to tell. At this point, it's a limited series. We have a writer attached who's written a wonderful pilot. We have a director attached, and hopefully, if this world shows us the way, given the current situation we are in, we'll be able to film it very soon.
I have less than a minute with you, but I do want to ask you very, very quickly, you know, in Hollywood, and many actors are struggling during the pandemic. You've been kind enough to share your story with us. How do you see your industry maybe evolving post-coronavirus?
Do you mean by in the way we are represented, or
represented, and just mental health? Do you think more actors like yourself will be more open about it?
Oh, I think there have been a fair amount. Jamila Jamil is one of them, and
yeah.
I think she's fantastic. She talks about this all the time, and I'm obsessed with her. And how she really puts to the forefront, you know, this body shaming that we're constantly subjected to, especially women. So I do think there are women that are coming in the forefront, but I do want to add that it actually makes a lot more sense when it comes from a very scientific point of view. Because, you know, we can say so much and we can want to do so much, but when you're backed by science, it just makes a bigger impact. And so I'm really happy that the emotions and the science of it all are working together.
You know, Jamila was also on this network. We appreciate you both. Freida, again, thank you for sharing your story. Such a privilege to talk to you. Thank you. Actor Freida Pinto. We appreciate your